Great morning, kings and queens. It's another Motivation Money Making Monday. This is Motivation Money Making Monday, all access right here. I posed a question a few weeks back asking all the people that are public servants to tell the people what they do, tell the people what they look to do to make the city of Albany better. And Queen Dorcey Applyrs was one of the first ones to step up to the plate and say, listen, I want to tell the people what I do, what I have done, the position that I hold, and basically just let the people know who Dorcey or Queen Dorcey is. Without further ado, we're going to have an all-access conversation with Queen Dorcey Applyrs. Queen, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. It is truly an honor, and I thank you for just, taking up the call and just stepping up and saying, hey, I'm more than willing to have this conversation and just talk to you and talk to the people about who I am.
Absolutely.
So, who is Dorcey?
So, when I think about who I am, I think about the three things that I really live by, and that is family, friendship, and faith. And from a family perspective, I'm a proud wife.
Yes.
Proud mom, but also the legacy of so many people who sacrificed, who struggled, so that I could have the life that I have and the opportunities that I sometimes take for granted. From a friend perspective, I consider myself to be a friend's friend.
Wow.
Meaning I just don't use that term loosely. And if I call you friend, then that means that I spend a lot of time investing in cultivating our relationship. I am not a very transactional surface type person. Even though sometimes the arena that I'm in, politics, can be very transactional. That is not who I am by nature. I am very much a person who values the depth of relationship and getting to know people.
Yes.
And so if you have a friend in me, I'm one of those ride or die type friends.
Yes.
And from a faith perspective, even though in order it came last, but in reality, faith comes first for me. I am a woman of faith, and because of that faith, how I govern my life and how I interact with people, it is really about compassion. It's about service, and it's about understanding and realizing that everybody is somebody's baby. So when you think about it from that perspective, for me, it is being able to treat everyone with some level of humanity, dignity, and just being kind.
Yes. Yeah, that's huge. That's tremendous. And I live by all of those things as well. Being a proud husband, being a man of faith, and also valuing friendships. Friendship is key. Like, it can't be like something that we do in social media where we just press on a button and that's my friend. I tell my children this all the time as they go through their different stages. Like, people have to earn friendship. That's a title that's earned. That's not something that could just be given. And the only time that you can prove or show forth yourself as a true friend is through trial and error.
That's right.
And through times and just going through things with that person so that person can show you who they are. And it goes both ways. If a person shows you that they're not true friends, then you got to let them be who they are. Yeah. And if they do, then they become those lifelong friends and y'all become mates, so to speak, in friendship. So that's huge. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up all of those points.
Thank you.
Yes. So what made you want to get into politics and into that arena?
Well, honestly, I didn't see it coming, even though I'm from DC and our nation's capital, and politics really run the city. Where I grew up, politicians didn't come to my door, so I did not see politicians. My family didn't talk about politics at the kitchen table. So initially, politics and even policy was a very abstract concept for me, and it's not something that I even saw for myself. But I started my career in the field of HIV and AIDS because I lost my father to HIV.
Wow.
He was a substance user, and I talked candidly about losing my father so early. But what that did, that tragedy, I used it to want to serve my community. And so after graduate school, I started working at SEDACA right on Clinton Avenue.
Wow.
At the Capital District African American Coalition on AIDS.
Okay.
And that's really where I cut my teeth in terms of advocacy, because what I learned doing HIV/AIDS work, you're working with people who oftentimes society casts aside, people who are substance users, people who are LGBTQ plus, people who have mental health issues,
Yes.
chronic diseases. And so you have to speak loud, and not that you're speaking for them because they have their own voice, but oftentimes because of societal norms of casting aside people who have an quote unquote issue, I learned that I had to speak loud and really advocate for the people that I was serving.
Right, absolutely.
And so that's how I ended up in this realm of advocacy. And then fast forward, I decided I wanted to learn more about policy and politics, because it didn't take me long to understand that you can do all of the best community programming and community work that you want to do, but if you don't have a seat at the decision-making table, you're just spinning your wheels. And so I went through a fellowship through the University at Albany, the Center for Women in Government and Civil Society.
Yes.
Women's fellowship, and that fellowship changed my life.
Wow.
Fundamentally changed my trajectory, my perception, and shortly after that, I was asked to run for office.
Wow.
And I became the councilwoman of the first ward. So that's really, in a summary, how I ended up getting into politics.
Right.
Not a path that I chose for myself initially, but it is, as we say in the field of public health, it has become my life's work. It is a joy of mine to be in this arena.
Right. It sounds like it just happened organically, and just like you being here today, you just answered the call, what I mean? When you have to step up and show your service to the people, and you have a passion to do something and show and actually do the things that's actually out there to be done, especially when it speaks to your heart and it serves the community, then you actually step up to the plate and make sure that those things are being taken care of in any way that you can. So that's tremendous, and I applaud you for taking on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. What are you currently doing as a public servant in the city of Albany?
So currently I'm the city auditor, chief city auditor. It's not a sexy topic, sexy title. And what I found when I took on this role back in 2020, most people didn't even know we had a chief city auditor position. They didn't know we had an office in City Hall. They did not know it was an elected position. And so as the chief city auditor for this city for the last nearly 3 years, my goal has been making sure that people know that this seat that I currently have is the people's seat. People elected me to serve in this role. And our office is really about a few things. One, making sure that government is being transparent. People have a lot of distrust for government.
Absolutely.
And rightfully so. So the Office of Audit and Control is about transparency. It's also about efficiency, making sure government runs smoothly and efficient. It's also about monitoring how we spend our money as a city, our money mostly being taxpayer dollars. But also what I bring to this role, and I don't mince my words about it, anyone who knows where I stand, this office is about making sure that we have equitable city services.
Yeah, that's important.
So we accomplish those three things: transparency, efficiency, in an equitable way in terms of city services by conducting audits of city departments and resources. And we also audit the investments that our city makes from a financial perspective. So there's a financial component to what my office does. We know how the money is spent. We monitor it, we audit it, and if something is going on that shouldn't be going on, we highlight it. So if in layman's terms, for the average person who might not understand what auditing means, it is really making sure that we are being good stewards of city dollars and taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And we always have to be good stewards over the things that in the titles and the positions that we are in. Can you name some of the policies or things that you have put in place since you've been in office to better the community and make sure that things are being transparent and we have more equity amongst our communities?
Absolutely. So I took office January of 2020. March 2020 is when the pandemic hit. So if you can imagine, I'm new on the job, and a lot of times elected positions don't come with a manual where you can read and learn the job. It is a lot of learning as you go.
Absolutely.
And so the pandemic hit. What I found early on from a city culture was that we have some antiquated systems. When it comes to making sure that city services and goods are being paid for, we were still using paper to go from department to sign off to make sure things got paid. My office plays a role in this larger accounts payable process where you have departments who might want to buy something. It could be supplies for their office, or it can be the snow plow equipment that we use when we have a heavy snow. We need to plow people's streets.
Yes.
And then we have those departments who submit paperwork in order for the payment to occur. The treasurer's office cuts the check. And so my office is like that middle ground where we audit and then we say, okay, Treasury, this is legit and it's ready to be signed off and we're ready for a check to be cut. But in the middle of a global shutdown, literally, and people were going home, being asked to go home, we were moving around lots of paper. How do you move around paper if you're home? And so in short order, we stood up a system that could be accessed online so that employees can still be responsible to what our departments needed, what our constituents needed. We were spending a lot of money on PPE. And for the first time, departments were able to engage in that process online. So that was one of the first things I did. I also, in the middle of the pandemic, the murder of George Floyd happened. And I said, it's not enough to point fingers and say, you should do. The question I always ask myself is, what are you going to do? Pointing that finger inwardly to advance racial justice. And I conducted a racial bias audit of the Albany Police Department. During that time, it's the first that ever took place. And it really laid the foundation for the police reform work that the city is currently undertaking.
Yeah, that's huge.
So I can go on and on. I just finished up an equity audit of our city. I have a youth program that I run that you have been a part of, Ready, Set, Go, really teaching our young people the importance of entrepreneurship and goal setting. And so I've been able to, in my opinion, fundamentally transform what it means to have an Office of Audit and Control and be accountable to our residents.
Yeah, that's tremendous. And definitely the youth program is key because the youth is our future. And if they don't see entrepreneurs, that look like them, that's actually doing the work and that they can see in the community, then they won't feel or know that they can actually achieve entrepreneurship, open up their own businesses and do even more than we are currently doing. So that's huge. And to put out that audit on the police department so that things are being transparent about what's going on in the police departments is tremendous. And I think that allows the people to have more trust in the process and to see exactly where the wrongs are and what needs to be corrected. So those things are big.
Thank you.
Yeah. Moving forward, what made you want to run for mayor?
That I get that question a lot these days. As you know, I announced in November.
Yes.
And depending on who I'm talking to, the answer changes slightly. But at its core, what I like to tell people is that I am running for mayor for some of the same reasons that Don and I chose to stay here and make this our home. One, I just have a deep appreciation for this city. Some people think that you have to be from a place to love a place.
Right.
This place has changed my life. I came from DC, very humble beginnings, really tough neighborhood, and this city gave me opportunity.
Yes.
I was able to receive a quality education from the University at Albany, such as yourself.
Yes.
I started a wonderful career here doing work that I love, advocacy, HIV/AIDS work. I met my husband here. We bought our first home here. We are raising our daughters here.
Yes.
When I think about the woman that I am today, a lot of that has been because of me choosing Albany as home. And I just deeply appreciate that and want to be able to give back to a city and the people who live, work, and play here, give back what has been given to me.
Yes.
Access, opportunity, service. I believe in the city's future. Everybody is talking about what will happen when it comes to the city and our future and our progress. And I believe in my heart that this city is a great city and it can be an even greater city if activated, and leadership matters. So I believe in this city and I'm committed to its future. We have a very bright future, and I want to be a part of the change that we get to benefit from, but also our children and our children's children get to benefit from when it comes to the city of Albany.
Yes. No, that's tremendous. What are some of the challenges that you foresee in you becoming mayor and actually being in a position to make the changes to better the city of Albany? What are some of those challenges that you feel you are going to have to face and ultimately overcome in order to make this a better city?
So I don't enter this race with rose-colored glasses on. We are facing some significant challenges as a city. One, when you think about Albany, we are the seat of government. There are layers of politics at play.
Absolutely.
Which stymie and hinder progress at times. And so it's important to be able to navigate the politics of the day and at play when it comes to getting Albany its fair share and what it deserves. So that just sets the backdrop. Heavy layered in politics. We also have, unfortunately, still a very segregated city because of policies of the past, like redlining. When you look at the demographics of our neighborhoods today, they very much mirror the demographics of this city back during segregation. It is because of those red line policies that we see some of the challenges that we currently experience from a equity and racial perspective.
Yes.
Again, this is just a backdrop of some of the things that we have to tackle as a city. But when I talk to people, and I've been out talking to anybody who will answer questions and listen to me or talk to me, and what people constantly say to me, one, public safety is a critical issue in this city, and it's an issue across the country. But in Albany, public safety looks different depending on sometimes the neighborhood you live in. Public safety could be gun violence. Public safety can be the impact of the pandemic, where we have homelessness, drug use, and mental health issues. And so public safety is an umbrella term that is used, but as mayor, I would be very in tune with the public safety needs of each neighborhood, because they are different.
Absolutely.
Economic development. You are an entrepreneur. You have done a phenomenal job. And what I find is that we have a city that is thriving when it comes to some of our residents, some of our business owners, and then we have some who are barely thriving, barely, people that are barely making it. And so economic inclusion is a need and a priority of mine when it comes to how we need to advance our city and move it forward. And then lastly, as I talked about with our neighborhoods, we have Albany often gets compared to Troy and Schenectady, and people look at their downtowns thriving and they're saying, well, how come we can't thrive? We can thrive. I think one of the things that makes us uniquely different is the fact that we are a city of strong neighborhoods. We have strong neighborhoods with businesses and people who care about their neighbors, the quality of life in those neighborhoods. And so for me, it is making sure our neighborhoods continue to be strong, affordable, healthy. And so we have a lot of work to do. People want our downtown to thrive. And there's no reason why we can't have a bustling downtown with entertainment zones, shops, housing, things for youth. That's all possible. But as mayor, those will be some of the things that I would need to hit the ground running on day one very aggressively.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that goes into the topic of things to do in Albany. And I always find that there's a tremendous amount of things to do in Albany. It just depends on where you're looking. But at the same time, it's people that has a not so positive view to things that's going on within Albany. How can the people that's in Albany help to bring these things about and bring about better neighborhoods, better collaborations within community, better entertainments, improving of our businesses that's downtown? Because it's not a one person's job. Everybody has to work together in order to make Albany better or make Albany the best that it can be. So what do you see that the people in the communities can work with you and work together to actually make Albany better? What do you think needs to be done in that area?
Well, what I appreciate so much about Albany is that this is a very prideful city. When we talk about rep your city, folks in Albany rep the city.
Right.
And I think that is the core ingredient for any thriving city, is to have people who have pride in where they live. Despite challenges, people still, whether you live here or work here, I've gone to businesses where people have said, I could have left, but I chose to keep my business right here in this city because I believe in this city. And the same with residents. So that pride coupled with coming together, you have so many people who want to see Albany thrive, but we are very siloed as a city. You have advocates over here spinning their wheels working. You have our business owners over here. We have developers over here. We have elected officials over here, and everybody is rowing towards the same goal, but in different directions. And it's hard to accomplish that goal if everybody is spinning their wheels and energy and rowing in different directions.
Absolutely.
I really see city government not as always leading, but convening. We have to take part in convening and bringing people together to harness that energy so that we are all rowing in the same direction, getting people to the table who often don't talk to each other, our developers, and sometimes our community members. We spend a lot of time fighting about policies and differences when in fact we all want the same things. It might look different, and we can disagree but still come to the table for a common goal, and that's to move this city forward.
Right.
So that we do have a bustling downtown where if I want to at 10:30 at night walk and get a cup of coffee from the Ethiopian coffee shop,
Right.
or if I want to go hear some music and live entertainment, our residents deserve to have all of that and more. But it will require us putting the egos, politics aside, rolling up our sleeves, and coming together so that we are all rowing in the right direction. And I feel very confident that it can be done with the right leadership, and government plays a role in that.
Absolutely. Definitely. I'm motivated. I'm definitely motivated. I'm inspired. And as an entrepreneur, I always have we can do it type of mentality about everything that goes on, even when things seem negative or like it's hitting the head and it's gonna be insurmountable, so to speak. It's always things that we can do if we work together and we push forward to overcome those challenges that's before us. So I thank you for your time. Do you have any last words that you want to say before we close this Motivation Money Making Monday?
So on this Motivation Money Making Monday, I am so inspired by you and what you continue to do in our community. And so I want to close by thanking you for choosing Albany and choosing to keep your business here, and not just a business, but it is a place where people can be motivated, feel inspired, and that's so important for our city. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Once again, it's an honor. Queen Dorcey Applyrs, thank you for joining us on this Motivation Money Making Monday. I wish you much success in your run for mayor. And we're going to keep on pushing to make Albany the best city that it can be.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Peace, y'all.